I forgot. He said it so easily, so casually, like it was normal, like it didn't matter. And at first, I believed him. Because people forget things, small things, unimportant things. That's human. That's normal. I remember the first time. We had something planned, nothing big, just a simple moment, something small, but something that mattered to me. I reminded him earlier that day, just casually. "Don't forget, okay?" I said. He smiled. "I won't." But he did. Hours passed. No message, no call, nothing. And when I finally heard from him, I forgot. Simple, direct, no hesitation. I paused. Not angry, just slightly disappointed. "It's okay," I said. "Because one moment doesn't define anything, right?" But then it happened again. Different day, different plan, same words. I forgot. And again, I let it go, because I didn't want to make it bigger than it was. I didn't want to seem demanding. I didn't want to turn small things into problems. But something stayed. Not the missed plans, not the silence, just the pattern. Because forgetting once is normal. Forgetting twice, maybe. But consistently? That's something else. Weeks passed, and that sentence didn't change. I forgot. Slipped my mind. I got busy. Different words, same meaning. And slowly, those moments started to feel less accidental and more intentional. Not in a direct way, not like he chose to forget, but like it didn't matter enough to remember. And that realization, it stayed, quietly, because I didn't say it out loud, I didn't confront him, I didn't question it, I just noticed. And once you notice something, you start seeing more of it, more clearly, more often. One evening, something small happened, but it was enough. We were sitting together, same space, same routine. His phone buzzed. He picked it up immediately. No delay, no hesitation. Answered quickly, smiled slightly. And for a moment, he looked present, engaged, focused. The kind of attention I hadn't seen in a while. I didn't say anything, didn't react, just watched. Because that difference, it mattered. Later that night, I asked casually, "Who was that?" He shrugged. "Just someone." Then added, "I forgot to tell you earlier." That word again. Forgot. But something didn't match. Because he didn't forget that message. He didn't delay. He didn't ignore it. He responded immediately, without hesitation. And that's when something shifted. Because it wasn't about memory anymore. It was about priority, about attention, about what mattered enough to not be forgotten. Days passed, and that contrast became clearer. The things he forgot, and the things he didn't. And slowly, a pattern formed. One that didn't need explanation. One that didn't need proof. Because it was visible. Every day. One afternoon I saw it clearly. Not through his words, but through his actions. His phone was on the table, screen lit up. A message. Her name. Not saved in a special way, not hidden, just there. But what stood out was the speed. He picked it up instantly, replied, smiled, like it mattered, like it couldn't wait. And in that moment, everything made sense. I forgot. That moment stayed with me. Not loudly, not emotionally, just clearly. Because it wasn't just about what I saw, it was about what it explained. All the times he forgot, all the times things slipped, all the moments that felt unimportant. They weren't random, they weren't accidents. They were choices. Not loud ones, not obvious ones, but consistent. And consistency, it tells the truth better than words ever can. I didn't say anything that night, didn't ask, didn't question, because I didn't need an explanation anymore. I already had clarity. And clarity, it doesn't come from conversations, it comes from patterns. The next morning felt normal, at least on the surface. He woke up the same way, moved through the routine the same way, checked his phone the same way. But I wasn't the same, because I wasn't waiting anymore. Not for plans, not for effort, not for something to finally change. I was just observing. And once you observe without expectation, everything becomes visible. Later that day, something small happened again, but this time, it didn't go unnoticed. I mentioned something casually. "Don't forget, we talked about going out tonight." He nodded. Yeah, I remember." I didn't respond, just looked at him for a second, then looked away, because I already knew. Hours passed, evening came, and just like before, nothing. No message, no call, no mention, until finally, I forgot. That same line, delivered the same way, like it was normal, like it was expected. But this time, it didn't land the same, because this time, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't disappointed. I was certain. Because now, I understood something fully. People don't forget what matters to them. They don't delay what they care about. They don't overlook what holds importance. And if they do, it means something, even if they don't say it, even if they don't realize it. I looked at him calmly, not upset, not emotional, just clear. "You didn't forget," I said quietly. He frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" I held his gaze for a moment, then said, "You just didn't choose it." Silence. Not heavy, not tense, just real. Because that difference, it matters. Forgetting is accidental. Not choosing isn't. "I've just been busy," he replied. Another familiar line, another explanation. But now, it sounded different. Because now, it didn't explain anything. It just filled space. I nodded slowly. "Busy doesn't explain everything," I said. And that was it. No argument, no raised voice, just truth. Looking back, I realised something. It wasn't about the word forgot. It was about what it covered, what it replaced, what it hid. Because "I forgot" sounds harmless, it sounds human, it sounds forgivable. But when it becomes a pattern, it stops being accidental. It becomes a reflection of attention, of priority, of choice. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. I stood up slowly, not in anger, not in frustration, just with certainty. He watched me, confused, trying to understand what changed. But the truth is, nothing changed. It just became visible. "Where are you going?" he asked. I paused for a moment, then answered clearly. "I'm choosing not to be forgotten." That landed. Because it wasn't about leaving, it was about understanding. And once you understand something like that, you don't stay in the same place. Not mentally, Not emotionally, not physically. I didn't mean it like that, he said. I nodded. I know. And I did. Because people don't always intend to hurt you. But that doesn't change what they show. It doesn't change what you experience. And it doesn't change what becomes clear over time. I picked up my bag, held it lightly, not tightly, just ready. Because once you realize where you stand, you stop trying to change it. You just decide if it's enough. And if it's not, you move, quietly, without needing permission, without needing explanation. Just with clarity. I walked past him slowly, not rushing, not dramatic, just certain. Because once you see what someone remembers, you understand what they value. And that realization, it changes everything, without saying much at all.